O God, open the eyes of our faith as Jesus comes near, that our hope might be restored as we gather, as we study the scriptures, and as we eat at your table. May we find renewed energy to continue the work that you send us to do. Amen.
Amen.
Fair warning, this morning I'm going to try something a little different. After a brief reflection on what stood out to me as I studied the scriptures this week, I will invite you to join me in a guided meditation, at least based on one that I experienced last weekend and found deeply moving. This is an opportunity for you to listen to what the Spirit is saying to you. First of all, I noticed how Jesus came near and what happens when Jesus is near. Spoiler alert, when Jesus comes, new hope is kindled and new energy provided for the work that Jesus began and invites us to continue. Now, the first 2 Sundays of Easter, we experienced the events of Easter from the perspective of the Gospel of John. Jesus is known to Mary as she hears his voice, and Thomas knows Jesus in a personal and visceral encounter. Today, as we return to Luke's Gospel, it may come as a surprise to realize that in his telling of the story, this event along the road to Emmaus is the first time that Jesus appears after the empty tomb is discovered. He appears not to his inner circle, not at a place that he is known to frequent, but along a dusty road some 7 miles outside of Jerusalem on the way to a minor village that is not, well, I guess it's Emmaus, right? It's named. Cleopas and another, perhaps his wife, perhaps a friend, we don't know, but 2 people who trust each other are walking along trying to make sense of the traumatic events that they experienced, that they witnessed during Passover. Now we know that they trust each other because they are willing to discuss the latest news and its political implications with each other and with this stranger who walks beside them. And Jesus honors them by listening to them and by engaging their questions. Yes, he does call them foolish and slow of heart, but they are not the first people to miss what he has been trying to say, trying to teach them, nor are they the last, as we too struggle to make sense of difficult life events. Now, second, I noticed these words of deep longing. We had hoped, they told him. Asked what they were discussing, they responded honestly, not with the platitudes we often use. Oh, nothing, we might say. Or, oh, we're fine. Even though our world is crashing. We had hoped that this was the one. We had hoped that things would be different. We had hoped for regime change, from freedom from our oppressors. We had hoped, and now we are astounded, stunned, gobsmacked by this turn of events. And we can't understand not only how has this happened, but how are we going to go on? And that, my friends, is exactly where Jesus meets us, where Jesus comes near. Somewhere along the road, walking with us in our despair and our longing. That is where and when Jesus sits with us and blesses the bread. Whether in our shared communion at this table, or whenever and wherever we share a meal together. Jesus meets us in those ordinary places and ordinary times. Now, the third thing I noticed, and what has been pulling my attention this week, are these words. Were not our hearts burning within us? Were not our hearts burning within us? These are the words of transformation, changing despair into renewed hope that motivates their return to Jerusalem and the beginning of their witness to others about what they have experienced. New hope that reframes trauma and despair and motivates, sends them out into the world to continue the work that Jesus began. Sends us out to continue the work that God has given us to do. Last week, Diana suggested that perhaps Thomas was not with the others because he was continuing the mission. Well, interestingly, this week I learned that legend and tradition hold that Thomas went to India in the year 52 and established a church there. A church that went unnoticed for 15 centuries until its discovery when Christian missionaries arrived to share the gospel. They found a thriving church. I think we underestimate Thomas. Were not our hearts burning within us? Rather than waiting for someone to come and save us, we are to be the people who address the needs that we see, to feed the hungry, to clothe the naked, to welcome the immigrant, to protect the children, and to advocate for the homeless. And these are the words that I would like to invite you to meditate on this morning. Were not our hearts burning within us? I will invite you into a period of centering through 3 deep breaths, then continue with a series of questions that I hope will engage your imagination. I will invite you to continue your meditation for 3 minutes of silence. For some of you, that will not be enough time, and for others of you, it will feel like an eternity. And I challenge you to avoid looking at your watches during that time. If your mind wanders, come back to your breathing and remember the fire within you. So we begin with centering. I invite you to close your eyes if you are comfortable doing so, or if not, soften your gaze by fixing on an object and letting your vision wander. Now we are going to take 3 breaths in and out to the count of 3. Deepening your breathing just a little bit more each time. So here we go. Breathe in, 2, 3. Out, 2, 3. Again, 2, 3. Out, 2, 3. And one more time. feel your heart burning within you. Where do you feel it in your body? What is your inner fire like? Are you still gathering tinder, or is it already burning? Has the flaming tinder started to burn the kindling, but not yet the fuel? Is the fuel burning like a bright, warm bonfire, or is it a controlled, low-burning campfire? Or has it burned down to smoldering embers and needs more fuel? Is this a peaceful place, a fearful place, or is it something else? Imagine now that you are sharing this fire with others. Who is with you? What do you hear and smell? Are you talking together or sitting quietly? Are you or is someone else cooking? Where is the fuel coming from? Who is tending it? What are you thinking or feeling as you gaze into the flames? Sit by your fire and appreciate its warmth and light as we hold a time of silence for 3 minutes. Invite you now, as you are ready, to return your attention to where you are, noticing the place you are sitting and and the people surrounding you as we continue our worship together. May this meditation and our time together serve to feed your inner fire and nourish your spirit. May it become for you spiritual fuel to burn your brightest and to bring hope and light and love to a sometimes dark and hurting world. May you be filled with love and wisdom and hope to do the work that you have been given to do. May you know deep within you Jesus as he comes near. Amen.
Amen.